What's good? Yo, what's happening, guys? It's been a while. It's been a little while. It's daylight savings time, and it's freaking dark outside. So I just wanted to start a quick conversation about flat Earth. Again, if you guys have been following me on my other channel, you've been seeing these videos that we've been discussing all this good stuff. I was just having a discussion with my wife actually this morning, and it came. We were talking about it, you know, and some of the things that I thought about, I was just like, you know what really doesn't make sense to me. We were just hearing on the radio that SpaceX is actually going to be sending a big rocket to Mars as early as next year, sending it there and back. And I just started shaking my head and thinking, what the fudge? Like, how the hell people are believing this shit? That's the thing that gets me. Is like, you think that these motherfuckers are really gonna send a rocket to space? Like, not even to space, to Mars, much less. That's the shit I don't get, because I'm just like, they can't even send a rocket to the moon. How the fudge are they gonna send something to Mars? Still to this day, they can't even do basic shit. The ISS is supposed to be hovering about, what is it, about 220 miles above the Earth's atmosphere, right? 220 miles above the Earth's atmosphere, but yet the ISS has a fixed, supposedly, like, I guess it's a fixed lens, whatever it is, on the partial on the Earth. I'm like, why is it that they can't turn that fucking camera around and show us the moon? Why can't they turn the camera around and show us the friggin' show us the sun? Why can't they turn the camera around and show us some stars? Right? Even when you see, and this is the other thing that got me, right? This is the other thing that got me. Even when you see people like throw up the balloons, right? They go up in the balloons, 100,000 feet, you know what I mean, to look at the curvature of the Earth and all this shit. Right? Why is it that we still can't see? Like, even when they go up there 100,000 feet, I have yet to see a video. Maybe somebody can correct me, but I have yet to see a video footage of when they're going up, of that fucking camera moving. Like, I never see the camera moving. I never see a different shot. Why is it that nobody ever tracks the moon, or even tries to track and look at the sun when they're going up 100,000 feet? I never understood that shit either. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, they're supposed to go up there with multiple camera angles. I know they didn't send a balloon up there with one fucking camera. Why is it that none of the cameras can track the moon, track the sun? Again, if you're that high in the air, it should be a lot easier to track the moon. For example, during the daytime, you can still see the moon. So if you go up that high, why can't you see the moon? Why is there ever no video footage of the moon? The planet's always lit up, but I can never see the sun, can never see the moon. I'm telling you, man, it's like the most basic shit that you can think of, man. Like, just doesn't make sense. And I was talking to my wife about it, and she's like, you know, we're never really gonna know. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they're never gonna really tell you that. They're never gonna really answer those kind of questions or whatever. Sup? Good morning, Ace. What's happening? What would be the benefit of a worldwide flat Earth conspiracy? Like, who benefits from that? I don't necessarily think anybody benefits or doesn't benefit. The thing is that for the longest time, up until like the 17th century, everybody thought the world was flat. It just made sense that way. They thought it was somewhat flat, meaning like it was some type of just an isolated realm. You know what I mean? At what point when it became a globe is when a lot of the sense of it just didn't make sense. And like I said, still to this day, you know, they tell you things, but they don't, you know, it's a difference. Like if I tell you, if you can see this object, and then I can make the math on it and tell you, you know, this is how you calculate distance, blah, 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 on something that you can see or whatever, you would be more inclined to believe me if you can see it and you can make sense of it. But some of the shit that they tell us about space and all this shit, like, to me, it just doesn't make sense, man. Like, it doesn't make sense. And like, to me, it's just the basic shit like that. Like basic stuff like, why don't you show us these things in like real time? Like if you're like, and to me, the biggest whistle, the red flag to me is if you have something 220 miles above the atmosphere, yet you can't turn a fucking camera around to show us actual space. To me, what is the benefit of not showing us what you've always been telling us about? To me, that, like, if they could just answer that, or just simply switch the camera around to show us these things, like, it would go a long way to reassure the public that, hey, yeah, we're paying you billions of dollars a year. Last year NASA got like 18 billion. You know what I'm saying? Like, we paid them $18 billion last year alone. It's like, can you give us some real hardcore proof of what you're telling us, what you've been telling us? I don't get it. I don't see how they can tell us that they can spot planets from light years away and shit, but yet these motherfuckers can't go to the moon because of Van Halen belts. That makes no sense to me. But yet we're supposed to be sending people to fucking Mars. I don't get it. Explain it to me. Wait a minute. We can't even leave this motherfucker because of Van Halen belts, but we're sending something to Mars? How about you send something back to the moon to try to beat the Van Halen belts? That's what I'm. Yes, ma'am. Can I get a large caramel macchiato?
Okay.
And hot, please. And let's see. Oh wait. Oh yeah, y'all changed everything. The menu changed. Yeah. You still have the bacon, egg, and cheese on the
yes,
bagel?
We do.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll get that as well.
Anything else for you?
That'll be it.
I have a total out the window.
Thank you. Got to get my morning coffee. But yeah, think about that. You know what I'm saying? Think about that, Crypto Nico. I'm just saying, simply think about things. I'm not saying that the earth is necessarily flat or concave, bowl-shaped, or an isolated... honestly, I think that it's an isolated realm. You know, I kind of think it's like an isolated realm, kind of like a snow globe. I don't know. I don't... The thing, it's really hard. It's really hard to explain. See, when you start getting into the business of trying to explain why the government lies to us, and when you find out the shit that they've lied to you about, you kind of scratch your head like, why would they even lie to us about that? Why wouldn't they just tell us the truth? Like, you have to start digging deep, and you have to really start saying everything that they do is pretty much predicated on a lie. And I think when you're controlling people, or when you're governing people, basically, I do understand that there are certain things that you can't, you know, there are things that you should not allow the general public to know, because it's not going to benefit you controlling them, being able to keep control if they know everything. I understand that. You know what I mean? It's just like it is in the military. You know what I mean? Your CEO, your commander gives gives orders to the cadre, who then give orders down to the soldiers. This is what we're gonna do. This is the plan. This is the mission. And as a soldier, you listen to the cadre. Your cadre says, "Hey, this is what we're doing. Get ready to execute," and you do it. You know, you don't have time. They don't have time to explain to you the ins and outs of why we're doing that mission. The thing is, we're just doing the damn mission. You know what I mean? We don't have time for people to sit around and say, you know what, let's discuss this. Let's talk about why we're going to do this before we do it. No, that's not your role. Your role is to just execute if you're a soldier, right? So and things usually get a little difficult, especially when you're especially if you're deployed or overseas or anything. When you have missions that you need to execute, when people start getting into the realm of discussing things and saying, "But fuck that, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna waste my life trying to execute this mission when there's a 90% chance that I'm gonna die." You know what I'm saying? No, you're not gonna do that, right? And it's the same thing when you're governing people, man. I just feel like I don't know what the benefit, like I said, to the government would be to lie to everybody to make us think that the Earth is round. We live in an infinite universe with lots of stars and planets everywhere, and we're seemingly the only one that has intelligent life. And to me, I just don't get it. But the thing is that as people get smarter, as technology advances, it's getting a lot harder for NASA to continue to ignore, because a lot of the things that they do is ignore people. But they ignore a lot of the public. You know what I mean? These are basic questions that should be answered from NASA. And the fact that they choose not to answer them, or the fact that they choose to bamboozle you with more BS instead of just showing you footage, to me it tells you a lot right there. It's like, okay, hello. Thank you. Gotta get that Dunkin', son. Gotta get that Dunkin'. Thank you. Thank you. To me that just it tells you a lot. It's like, look, guys. Yeah, we know we told you about the moon. We told you about this, all these constellations that you can see right here on Earth, but you need to trust us about what we tell you when we actually go to space. It's just like, okay, well, you have a space station that's 220 miles from the Earth's atmosphere, and we know you have multiple cameras on that motherfucker. So, can you just show us the moon? Thank you. Oh wait, no, you already gave me something.
Oh shit.
Let me see. Let me make sure this is the right one.
Yes, Charlie for the next part. Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah, this looks like a bagel. I just need the. There we go. Thank you. Oh, is this a hot caramel macchiato? This is not even hot. Oh, they messing up this morning, man. This shit ain't even hot.
Yes.
This is not. It's not hot at all. I asked for a hot caramel macchiato. It's not hot at all. It's not hot coffee. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's just something simple like that. Can somebody here explain to me why? Can somebody here explain to me why? I would like to see what the moon looks like 220 miles closer from the Earth's atmosphere. What that would look like. And if you have cameras on there, which you do, why is it that you can't show the general public what the moon looks like from 220 miles outside the Earth's atmosphere. Not the moon from the Earth's surface, but if you're already there, outside the Earth's atmosphere, why can't you show us what the moon looks like? And if somebody on here can explain to me why they can't, and a logical explanation, tell me why they can't. Just explain to me logically why they can't do that. And explain to me logically why they can't show us any type of stars that exist that I can see here on the Earth's surface. Why they can't show me that while they're in space. If somebody can tell me why. Also, if you can tell me why we have 10 to 30,000 satellites in space, if you can tell me why none of those satellites actually take real images, but only give you data so that you can take the data and compile and create an image from the data, if you can explain to me why that is, that would make a lot of sense to me as well. You know what I mean? Like,
Here you go. I'm sorry about that.
oh no, it's fine. Thank you. Yeah, if you can explain to me that, you can explain that to me. And I'm saying, these are things that NASA, SpaceX, like these are things that, and SpaceX has done it too. You know, don't get it twisted. You know, I'm all for SpaceX coming in, being able to do these things, like, being very ambitious and capitalizing on what NASA has not been able to do. I understand that. But, SpaceX is like launching rockets all the fucking time. They're testing rockets all the time. And all of a sudden it's like SpaceX now even wants to go. Oh, come on, man. Just fucking focus. Even SpaceX wants to go to Mars. And it's just like, okay, can y'all freaking elaborate, or what is it that you're going to do differently that NASA can't do? You know what I mean? Because NASA already told us they can't get past the Van Halen belts. Basically, if they try to go through the Van Halen belts, have you ever put a hot dog in the microwave for like 3 minutes and heat that bitch up? Like, that's what you're going to look like if you're inside of a space capsule trying to go through the Van Halen belts. That's what they told us. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, so you can't send somebody to the moon because of the Van Halen belts. Then can you at least send another rocket? Like, you guys already did a touchdown on the moon, supposedly. Why can't you just recreate the same mission with nobody on the fucking flight? You know what I mean? Like, there should be some type of, if you can't send somebody to space, you can send a fucking probe. You can send a fucking rover. Like, land on the moon again. You know what I'm saying? Land on the moon again. Land a fucking empty rocket with some probes to the moon again. Oh, what? Capital released on Link Connect, all your 3x my investment. Oh, really? I didn't know Link Connect was still even around. I didn't know Link Connect was still around. Y'all better be careful fucking around with those lending platforms. I tell you that. The fact that they still exist is amazing to me. The fact that they still exist is amazing to me. What the fuck are they doing? What the fuck? I just saw a car coming at me. Fuck. Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I want. That's all I want NASA or anybody who works for NASA. That's all I would like to know. They're constantly putting up, like I said, they constantly put up these balloons, again, which don't make sense to me. They send up a bunch of balloons when they can just send up a satellite, or they already have those, supposedly already have the satellites up there. But balloons are the only thing that can give us live video footage and not the satellites, which costs exponentially way more money to put up in the air. So again, you know what I mean, I don't understand, man. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It don't make sense to me. The only thing that does make sense to me is that the lack of actual footage, the lack of actual real data and footage of outer space means to me that they are trying to compensate for something that they are lacking, and that is the ability to actually get out of the fucking real atmosphere. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. Logically, that's my opinion, because it doesn't make any sense. To me, it makes absolutely no sense. That's just me. There's a lot of things that science can prove here on Earth. There's a lot of things that you can see with your own eyes. There's a lot of things that make sense here on Earth. But when they start talking about space and shit, it just, none of it makes sense. You know what I mean? None of it makes sense. SpaceX got that thing up in the air too, man. They got that thing up in the air, and yet I can't see the moon. I can't see nothing. All I see is a car spinning and the Earth that doesn't rotate. What? That doesn't even... Why? Again, there's supposedly multiple cameras on this thing, but we only get one view. What? How does that even make sense, people? Like, it has to make you scratch your head like 2 or 3 times and say, oh, that's weird. This thing has got multiple cameras on it. They showed us multiple camera angles before it got into space, and then now that it's in space, we only got one camera angle. What happened to the other cameras? And why can't we see everything? It makes no sense. You know what I mean? It just don't make sense. And people just, I don't know, man, they eat that shit up, man. They eat it up, you know what I mean? Like, they eat it up. They don't even question it. And then if you do question it, people say, oh, well, it's easily explainable. Okay, well, explain it. The people who put it up there should be able to explain it the best. Yet, they can't explain it. They just give it to you and you're supposed to accept it, man. Like, to me, that's the craziest shit ever. It's like they do a good job showing you some nice looking pictures and all this craziness, but I think people are just so ready to believe whatever that they put out. And a flat earth coin. They ought to make one. They ought to make one of them shits. But, you know, like I said, and I don't know if the earth is actually flat. I don't know if it's flat. And what I mean by flat, meaning I don't know if it's concave, if it's a bowl, if it's a globe, like if it's like a snow globe. I don't know about any of that, right? But what I do know is that the people that came before us with less technology, they were accurate about a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of things that, you know, they didn't get right, but, you know, neither do we. And we have way more advanced technology. But what I will say is that a lot of the things that they did do, they're very accurate and consistent. Consistency to me is the most important thing. You know what I mean? We have a lot of consistency when it comes to the human race as far as what we're able to record, what we're able to do. And all those civilizations, they all said the same thing, that this motherfucker was an isolated dome, an isolated realm. And I tend to believe what they say simply because before supposedly all the technology that we have today, those motherfuckers were able to you know, map out the cosmos. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had the knowledge to tell you about the constellations before they even had a fucking telescope. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like, to me, we're in the age of confirmation, where we have, you know, within the last 200 to 300 years, we've been able to really confirm a lot of the things that these civilizations had already done. So to me, when you look at it, it's like, okay, well, these motherfuckers, somehow they knew all this shit, and I'm pretty sure they had a better idea of how this motherfucker worked than we do. So for us to kind of just come in and say, oh no, this is they were all wrong, you know, this is what it really is, but you show us a lack of evidence to actually prove that shit. To me, you know, that's the thing that doesn't make sense. Crypto Ninja say, yes, flat earth all the way. Research into 3-axis gyroscopes proves earth doesn't rotate and spin. We still can't dig more than 8 miles into the ground. Yeah, and that's the thing to me, like, these motherfuckers can't even get to the center. They can't even find the center of the planet, much less they send this shit to space. Get out of here. Yeah, I got my capital release today. I have my 5X round. It's good if you're able to withdraw that shit. If you can withdraw it, then you'd be all right. The ice soldiers are stationed all around the ice wall of Antarctica, surrounding this plate-like wall in the Game of Thrones. That's true. I just not thought about that. But I mean, like, think about it. If you think about it, like, I don't even know. I don't know if there's ice surrounding the Earth or whatever. But I know I did see something where if you look on Google Earth or whatever, Antarctica actually surrounds the planet. It's kind of weird. I saw that and I was like, that's fucking weird. But you know, I don't know. But what I do know is that when you know, when they did try to tell us that the Earth is round, because, like, you know, if a ship goes off in the horizon and it disappears, that proves that the Earth is round. You know what I mean? Like, when it goes off so far. But then they debunked it, and they basically said if you get some binoculars or a telescope, you'll still be able to see the ship sailing. It's just your eyes can't compute that far. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that makes sense. I mean, if you can show me, which they do, then I'm just like, wow, you know, that's crazy. You know what I mean? So, like, to me, that's science working for the good. You know what I mean? Like, it's proving something that you might think that people back then probably didn't have the, you know, they probably didn't have the equipment and stuff like that to actually prove those theories. They had to go on what they thought. To me, gravity doesn't make any sense at all. Gravity doesn't make sense. Morning.
Good day.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, gravity to me doesn't make sense at all. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, you're telling me that gravity holds everything down, but yet, you know what I'm saying, yet you can fill a balloon up with helium and that motherfucker will just float away. You know what I'm saying? Or you can throw things of different weights into some water. Some will float, some will sink. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, gravity is very, very selective. That's what it shows me. That's what that shows me, is gravity is very selective. I don't believe any of it. I don't get it. If the Earth is spinning at over 1,000 miles an hour and yet rotating around the sun at 66,000 or over 60,000 miles an hour, like, to me, that means, you know, what was Isaac Newton's law of motion? A body in motion will tend to stay in motion. So, like, when I'm on a motorcycle and I'm going 20 miles an hour, if I hit something, my body will continue to fly forward. The motorcycle will stop, right? That proves that theory. So why is it that if the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, if you jump in the air, or if you send something in the air, like an airplane or a balloon, shouldn't the ground below you continue to rotate while you're suspended in air? Like, to me, that don't make sense. Like, why doesn't it do that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just things like that they tell you, like, and I don't see it. It doesn't make sense to me. Can somebody explain that shit? You know what I mean? Like, we fly to a destination, right? Like, if you're flying to a destination, if the Earth, unless the plane is spinning at the same speed of the Earth, over 1,000 miles an hour, how the hell do we actually even get anywhere? Does that make sense? Like, like, yo, what's up, bro, John? What's going on? Oh, I mean, oh yeah, we're all interested in deep parts of the ocean. They haven't even figured half the shit out in the ocean. They're still discovering new life forms in the ocean that they still haven't even, that they had no idea existed. So if I don't get pictures of planets, then I honestly don't care about space. The one that gets me the most is that the sun and the moon are inside this globe acting as a spotlight. You know, I don't that's the kind of thing, that thing right there, that specific topic alone right there is something that I don't even really understand either, is how far exactly is the sun and the moon? And again, like when I was telling you about, whenever they show us video and show us pictures of the supposed, like, not even, I wouldn't say pictures, but whenever they show us video, you know, of the balloons going up like 100,000 miles, you know, floating up 100,000 miles, and they're showing us video when they're shooting off these rockets, when they're doing all this stuff. Why can't they ever show us what the moon looks like from that height? Why can we never track? Like, if you go and look and look at videos that show you, you know, when they're trying to prove, look, there's no curvature of the Earth, you know what I'm saying? With these balloons that are going up very, very high, and they're super high, right? Why is it that they can never track? Why is it they never show you where the moon is? Why do they never show you where the sun is? We see everything that's lit up, but we never see the sun or the moon. Like, if you're 100,000 feet up in the air, you should be able to easily see the moon more clearly, because I can see the moon right now in the daylight in the early morning. I can see the moon still, and I can see the sun. But why is it when they go up high, 100,000 miles plus, they can never show us what the moon and the sun look like? But yeah, they give us images here on Earth of what they look like. I can see what they look like at night, but they can't show us that shit in real life time, like in live feed, what it looks like when they're closer, a lot closer. Like, to me, that don't even make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't make sense, man. And I definitely don't believe that these motherfuckers are going to Mars. These motherfuckers ain't going to Mars, bro. They ain't going to Mars. I can tell you that shit. These jokers ain't going to Mars. These motherfuckers can't even get to fucking the moon. There ain't no way they going to Mars. Don't let them lie to you. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to have this quick discussion, because like I said, I was discussing it with the wife, and I was just like, what is the anger? Like, why would they even lie to us about some shit like that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even get it. I'm pretty sure that there are lands. I've seen that too. I have seen that too. Yeah, there are a bunch of little isolated realms like that we have, and there are more beyond us, probably beyond the Arctic or whatever that they. So to me, I don't know. Maybe that's why they created the globe theory, to make us think that we are isolated. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, when there's more shit out there, like, I don't know. Who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows? But appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you guys coming through. Yeah, we'll talk more later about this, but I just wanted to have a quick discussion. It's pretty interesting stuff. And I like having the open discussion, because a lot of people, when you come together and you actually start discussing things with other people, no matter how absurd you think something is, as long as logic is put into place, as long as like there's logical answers, logical discussions, I think it's beneficial. You know, it's a lot more than just accepting something that somebody gives you without questioning it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that we know of, a lot of things in history that they've told us that have been dispelled, you know what I mean? Simply because they were lying. And we know the governments of the world lie a lot. And part of it is for control reasons, you know, they need to be able to control you, but, you know, they tell us that they tell us that aliens exist and they come from other planets and all this shit, and then yet these motherfuckers we can't even get to the moon. I don't know. You know, if aliens existed, then to me, I would see no reason why they would even pay us any attention. You know, that's just me. We are not interesting at all. We could, like, they probably looking at us like, these motherfuckers can't even get to the moon. There's nothing that we're interested in them about. You know what I mean? That's how I would look at it. Like, why even? There's nothing interesting about them. They can't even fucking get to the moon. They can't even get out the Earth's atmosphere. Maybe they done figured it out. Maybe we haven't. Who knows? But I also heard that theory too, that, you know, like the other realms that exist beyond the Arctic walls and stuff, that what we see as UFOs, these are actually other travelers from other distant lands or whatever. So that could be a possibility too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's what. Yeah, exactly. That's what I theorized too. That's what I've kind of heard as a theory, that the UFOs that we are seeing are just people from other different realms. That's a very big possibility as well. The fact that they have that most of the countries have a treaty for Antarctica, and they've come together to have a treaty there, and that nobody can really go there unless you have official business there. That shit is very serious. It's very, very serious. Let me tell you how serious that shit is. Like, when I was stationed in Colorado, right, at Fort Carson. Fort Carson is very, like, I had heard of NORAD from like Call of Duty and shit like that, but I had never, you know, when you go there, there are no obvious signs. Like, there is a NORAD. People know that there is a NORAD. It's not like hidden truth. There's NORAD, but the thing is that only certain people that have the credentials to be there are able to go there. They will turn you around. Armed guards will turn you around if you stray too far near NORAD. And NORAD is all under base, man. And it is connected to Fort Carson. And I think you can only really get there if you have business to be there, honestly. But that's a little scary when you think about it, because that's when I first started hearing about chemtrails and all this stuff going there. You know, we have our big ass missile defense there. Basically, we can hit anywhere in the world from fucking Fort Carson, Colorado Springs, baby. It's a fucking beast there. It's crazy. But again, everybody's symbol of Earth is a flat Earth. They don't even hide that shit, but they'll continue to tell you that it's fucking round. But what is the real reason? Lend Connect. I ain't fucking with Lend Connect, man. I'm done with these lending platforms. All these motherfuckers don't pay you a fucking thing. I'm still waiting on Chrysos to launch an exchange, man. They don't even have a fucking exchange. It's crazy. But anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Appreciate you coming through.